Alright, hey guys, what's going on? Pete here, and I'm going to give you guys a couple things that I don't necessarily like about the GTI. So this is going to be kind of me complaining about the car in this. So I'm in my garage for this because it's hot outside. There's a lot going on, a lot of cars going by. So I figured, in spite of overall visual quality and sound quality, we'll do it in my garage. So sit back and enjoy me complaining about my car. So to start us off, and I wrote this down because I've tried this. This is actually it's probably take 3, but all right. Now, the first thing that I don't like about the GTI. So mind you, keep in mind this is gonna have stuff to do with my own car. However, the reason why I'm gonna say it is it could happen to you. So now the first section is electronics. Now electronics, the first thing on my list is the rear sprayer for the rear wiper. That thing keeps breaking, and it really makes me angry. It's broken now. Keeps squirting, and I don't want it to. I don't even. It's not like I bump it, you know. It's actually just some kind of I guess nipple is loose and it's oozing, and it's making me really angry, especially on hot days. It really, and you know, it could just be one of those things that just, if they keep fixing it, it's just one of those things that'll just keep breaking. So that's why it's on the list. Auto windows. These windows, for the most part, and I don't know if there's a sensor, it thinks there's something in the way. This thing is always clean. It's literally always clean. It's not like there's water too. I always blow the water out. But sometimes the auto windows are not auto. What I mean by that is if you hold up, you'll have one click, and that's just manual. If you go all the way back with the window button, it'll be auto mode. So they'll auto go up, auto go down. The driver, and actually all the windows I think are auto. They have all the ability to do that. So, and this is the same for all windows. Sometimes it's a little bit problematic and it doesn't go down or up automatically, and you have to manually do it. Sometimes it's auto. It's weird. I don't know. Now this is just for my 2015. The 16s have it. The 17s have it. All the new ones have it. Just the first Mk7 didn't get it. USB port, and yeah, we did get a USB port. We got a 4th down to, like, I think 1st gen iPod slot. You guys probably already know that. That's just one thing to keep in mind when you get a 15 is don't expect a USB slot. You can't disable trash control fully without getting OBD11. That's in my electronics just because I guess it's considered electronic. That's annoying. If you don't have OBD11, we'll get it. Definitely get it. It's just a nice thing to have. But also, yeah, it's kind of weird that you can't fully disable it. The R you can. I mean, I guess it makes sense because it's all-wheel drive. But so yeah. Now on to the second category. This is the interior. I guess I don't know why I wrote this. I did this script a week ago, and it's taken me a week to do this video, so I don't remember why I put some of these things down. But so the first thing on the interior is I put lame. I don't know why I wrote that, but I mean, I guess I see why. It's kind of dull in here. However, for the price range, it's pretty darn good. They could have spiced it up a little bit. It's not as bad as the R. I like the R interior. I like all these interiors. It's just it could be a little bit more lively. It's all one color. They did well with the trim. They didn't do a matte color, and they didn't do a glossy piano black, which scratches and shows fingerprints. So I guess this is a really good mix. And they didn't try to make a carbon fiber. That's one thing. When people come in here, they're like, "Oh, cool, carbon fiber." No, it's just plastic. It's not carbon fiber. And they didn't try to make it carbon fiber, which is the best part. So I like that, even though I don't like it at the same time. Yeah, like I said, just plastics in general. The paddles are plasticky. They're not bad. They're not bad paddles. I've seen bad paddles before. They don't stick out, which is a plus for me. Some people put the extensions. I'll never get extensions, and I say that now. I may get extensions, but I would never use them for their intended purpose. I would never hit them like where they're extended, because you can actually break these paddles pretty easily. They have like little... I don't know what they're called, but if you hit it kind of a corner, especially if you have an extension, you hit it at the top of the paddle extension, what'll happen, it'll kind of just flim. Instead of going like click, it'll go like that. and it'll break, so they're brittle. You want to be careful, so that's why I'll never get an extension. So yeah, the paddles are a little bit cheap. I've driven Audis before, and Audi paddles are my favorite paddles, aside from Porsche paddles, because those are sweet. The 718 Cayman that I drove, that had awesome paddles, probably my favorite, because you could see the paddle, and there wouldn't be, I don't think there were buttons on the steering wheel, I think it was an open, and you could see the paddles, like there was a little opening in the three-piece part of the steering wheel, so you could see even just the face of the paddle on the back side of the wheel. It was awesome. So that was pretty cool. And Audi, I like Audi paddles as well, even though they're also plasticky. They look nice, but it's a Volkswagen, so you know. And the push button start, and this kind of goes with this, also some other trim pieces. The push button start is, I call it a trim piece because it has a plasticky cover, and it's a metally plastic. It's really weird to explain, but essentially what happened is it's stripped a little bit, and on the ends, because the way the end works, it's sharp on the ridge that goes down, and it's like a little point. Because it's a little point, there's not much grab area for the sticker, so it has started not to peel. It's already peeled off. It actually broke off. So the ends, the two ends and engine are missing their little pointed parts in the bottom of the. It's really not noticeable, but it's kind of annoying that happened. So yes, the fourth. Well, actually, I'm going to just jump because I'm going to talk about this one lastly. So for my DSG, we'll say this is the third. DSG in general is a really good transmission. I like it. I think if I were to get another one of these, I'd get DSG. I think if I were to buy another GTI, I'd get a manual, and if I were to buy a Golf R, I'd get DSG. But in general, the DSG is a good transmission. It just lurches, and that's why it's on this list. It overheats if you drive it really hard for a long period of time, and you leave it in manual. You don't really want to drive this thing in manual and stop and go because it's just so lurchy. It just and like I asked my passengers, they're like, "Do you guys feel that?" They're like, "No." So it's like it's definitely if you're driving, you feel it just because I don't know, when you're a driver, it's so much different driving compared to just riding. So I feel it as a driver, and I guess when my friends drive this thing, they also feel it. However, for passengers, they don't feel it. But the DSG lurching is just on here just because it's a bit annoying, but whatever. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is this is for me personally. So stage 2. Now the reason why my stage 2 is on here, and I'm just going to talk. I love stage 2. I would so do this again. But I'm just going to talk about the things I don't necessarily like about the tune, because it's in the car. It's about the car, so I'm going to bring it up. So it revs every single time I rev this thing. Even if it's in normal mode, it'll pop. I want to just rev this thing without it popping. When you do rev it, say if it even is gonna like pop, if you rev it like once or twice, what'll happen is it won't pop, but that's just, I guess, letting it warm up. I don't know. And then after like the third time or second time you rev it, it'll start popping right as you let off. So that's annoying. So it pretty much always revs. It always pops when you rev. I wish there was an ability to, like, you know, when you drive it, you're allowed to turn off pops and turn them back on. I want the ability to rev it without pops. Just a little thing. And then in sport mode, when you have the pops on, it's, and I guess it's just the way the engine's reprogrammed. It's normal if you drive it in any other mode. Like if you let off, it'll be consistent, but say if you let off, of course it's going to pop, but it's also going to kind of just like lurch a little bit. I shouldn't say lurch, but it'll kind of just, you'll feel it sort of fall on its face a little bit, but right when it does, right when it just like cuts out, it kind of cuts power a little bit. It's really weird to explain. You have to really experience it just yourself. For some of you guys with the Stage 2 Pops and Crackles tune, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But right when you let off, it'll kind of just jolt a little bit as opposed to just letting off and having it staying consistently, just slowly losing speed. This, when you're in sport mode, it'll kind of just quickly lose speed. It's weird. I don't know why, but that's a thing. Okay, so for the last thing, I don't necessarily like about the cars, just the costs in general. They're really expensive. Holy smokes. When I curbed this thing 2 years ago, about a year and a half ago actually, it's pretty insane. It was really expensive. I destroyed a rotor, I bent the wheel wasn't replaced, it should have been replaced, but at the same time, I'm kind of glad I didn't have to pay for another wheel. But the rotor, brake caliper, like the housing, I guess you could say the face of the caliper, and then the bracket I think was fine, they kept that, but the face of the caliper, I'm probably getting the terminology all mixed up, but yeah, it was really expensive. It was $6,900 in repairs just because I curbed it. And the body was fine. It was just all axles and stuff. Oil changes are pretty expensive. I gotta start doing those myself because it's really easy these days. ShopDAP does this thing where you can like suck the oil out. It's like, that's easy. Wish I had that ability. Maybe I'll do that. Who knows? But it's like $70 for an oil change. And then another accident this thing was involved in is it was like also last year, pretty much 2 months after this thing was. I curbed this thing and came back, and I was in a parking lot, and this kid with a truck ran over it and hit the fender, bumper, I was about to say tail light, headlight, and fog lights, and the trim was actually just the trim. They didn't even replace the trim. They just they didn't have to. It wasn't that bad, but they actually just polished the plastic, which is, I've never seen that before, but they did it. So yeah, so that was all replaced. So like I said, headlight, fog light, fender, bumper, and they just salvaged everything else. Like they just adjusted and fixed all the plastics, and that was $4,000 worth of damage, which is a lot of money. By the way, the only things that were replaced were just the headlight and the some of the brackets and the fog lights, so just keep that in mind. The headlights are expensive. If you guys have the lighting package, I can't imagine what the new headlights are. The 7.5 headlights, they're probably the same. But I think it was $1,200 just alone for one headlight. Of course, that's if you get it directly from Volkswagen. There's like, I think Volkswagen Vortex or some kind of not aftermarket, actually sells actual genuine Volkswagen parts, and you can get like a set of headlights for not too much. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. That's my list. I want to talk about the things that I wish I had. This is gonna be a long video, but hey, whatever. So the things that I wish my GTI had. Well, I'm gonna start by saying I wish I got a 2016 for the USB, the cool infotainment system, the boost gauges that you get, because I think that's cool. I like that that niftiness. Apple CarPlay I wish I had. That's just awesome. So I wish this was a 16, just because, you know, the 16s and up are really nice. And I believe, actually no, it was 17 when you were able to buy an SE with performance package, I'm not speaking right, performance package standard. So if you get an SE, you get that pack standard, which I think they bumped the price up not too much too for the SE. This is an SE, if you guys are wondering. Yeah, so like I said, I really wish I had the performance package too, the big brakes, the LSD. That's just really cool package. And with stage 2, I could totally benefit from the LSD and maybe the big brakes too. I like the lettering on the brakes too, the GTI. These are just standard red, which honestly, they still look good. Do I really need the performance package? No. Would I like it? Yes. So there's that. And I'm trying to think, what do I not need in this car? I talked about the things that I'd like, but I really like the way this thing is. This doesn't have many packages. It just has the DSG, the lighting package, and an SE. Would I just get a base GTI with the 2-door? I don't think you can get a 2-door anymore. Maybe you can. I think you can still buy 2-door GTIs. Even the 7.5s are 2-doors. I could be wrong, though. Clark Plaid, I like the Clark Plaid. I have no problem. I would totally just drive a Clark Plaid GTI because you save money. The cloth inserts in the doors, I don't really like. I like leather cloth, leather inserts. I think that's really nice. Cloth's not my cup of tea, but I do like the cloth seats. They kind of maintain their cleanliness, which is weird to say, as long as you don't get any stains in them. So yeah, and then DCC, which is dynamic chassis control. That's really cool. I like that. I don't think it'd be kind of silly to get in a GTI, just because most R's have it, not as standard, but just most R's have a Golf R's. So like, yeah, it's kind of silly if you buy it for a GTI, but yeah. So dynamic chassis control would be cool for the GTI, but at the same time, I probably would never get it. So yeah, that's my list. I had to write it all down because there was no way I'm gonna remember that. So hopefully you guys liked the video. Hopefully you guys took away from some of this. Mind you, this is a 2015 GTI SE with lighting package. It has the, did I say DSG? It has the DSG as well. And hopefully I covered everything about this thing, the things I like about it. And I did a video about the things I just mixed that up. Hope you guys enjoyed the things that I disliked about this car, and of course, I posted a week ago, or maybe 2 weeks ago, the things that I like about this car. So check that video out if you kind of want to see what I liked about this car, because there are a lot of things I do like about it. There's actually, like, I really do like this car. It's still very, very fun for me, as it is a lot of people. So yeah, so feel free to leave a comment. I love answering you guys' questions, so yes, be sure to do that, and stay tuned for more videos to come, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.